It's all change for the city as £29 million plans are approved for a transport hub and the regeneration of Cornhill Market. Business is bad in Balegate as shops reported downfall in trade since the castle reopened. And MP for Lincoln Carl McCartney has come under fire after voting.
Auto cue, people. Good afternoon, this is LSJ Today and we're live from Lincoln. I'm Catherine Talbot.
And I'm Will Longman. We have 30 minutes of all of the news from around the region, but first our top story. Plans for a brand new integrated transport hub have been approved. The hub, which will see the bus station combined with the train station, was given the go-ahead in a unanimous vote last night. Our reporter Rachel Lowes has more.
Lincoln has long been renowned for its inaccessibility, but that could be set to change. Plans for a brand new transport hub were approved last night after a proposal in January this year. The hub will cost an estimated £29 million and will work in conjunction with Lincolnshire Co-op's Cornhill Quarter scheme.
The hub will be situated here as the heart of Lincoln's connection to the Midlands. It will consist of a brand new bus station next to the train station, as well as a 1,000 space multi-storey car park on the site of the old bus station and a brand new shopping plaza.
Currently, the bus station sees 7 million people a year pass through its doors, but it is hoped that with new transport hub and improved services that this could rise. Rachel Lowes, LSJ News.
Well, Rachel's in the studio with us now. Rachel, can you tell us a little bit more about the development?
Well, the hub really is looking into improved transport links for Lincoln. The project is going to involve demolishing the existing bus station and replacing it with a multi-storey car park with 1,000 spaces. The new bus station, which you heard about in my report, is going to be alongside the train station and will be much larger than the current one. So again, that's really about capacity, improving on those 7 million people a year who come through there and increasing footfall. Additionally to this, the current footbridge is going to be demolished, replaced with a new higher one, and that's all about future-proofing really, making sure that electrified trains will be able to fit underneath it in the years to come. There's going to be cycle lanes and spaces for those cycling into the transport hub to safely store their bikes. Kate Ellis is Assistant Director for Planning and Regeneration at the City of Lincoln Council. And in a statement released today, she said, "This is a significant milestone for the project. The hub would bring a number of improvements that have been needed for a long time, including better transportation facilities while enhancing the appearance of the city centre for years to come." Now, the work is all going to be carried out by a construction company, Wilmot Dixon, and the council are investing £2.1 million of that £29 million, and the remaining funding is due to be confirmed by April next year. However, so far, we have no date for the start of construction. Back to you.
Rachel, thank you very much. Now, it's been a great summer in Lincoln for tourism, but what effect has this had on businesses in the Uphill area? Some shops in the Balegate have reported a negative impact on their sales this year. Lucy Hickmott reports.
The revamp to the castle this summer has put Lincoln on the map, but businesses in the Uphill area have reported up to a 40% decrease in the customers coming into their shops, with one shop that's been around for 70 years having to close its doors in the new year.
This area of Lincoln boasts many independent businesses, but could this be about to change? Linda Wardell owns Yellow Bellies, an independent shop in the Uphill area.
We've noticed quite a lot of our customers, or our customer base has dropped off because our customers, many of them come from out of the city, that live in the villages, and we've had feedback from some of them to say they couldn't get parked, so they haven't been able to come and shop.
With more and more businesses closing down, is this a direct effect of the tourism drive in Lincoln over the summer?
The survey showed, and it's not within the report, but I can tell you that something like 10 businesses will close over this next year. But you'd expect such a thing to happen to a degree or another. Businesses go through cycles. They succeed and fail. People get older, people want to leave the businesses. All sorts of things happen. So expect businesses to open and close, and that's a good thing, of course, because it brings new blood in.
The loss of independent businesses is a national trend, so it's not just in Lincoln that this is happening. But it remains to be seen whether these businesses will pick up again. Lucy Hickmott, LSJ Today.
Lincoln MP Carl McCartney has come under fire as the University of Lincoln Student Union criticised his vote against changes to the tax on women's sanitary products. Our reporter Emma Tinson has more on that story.
Well, Carl McCartney, along with 4 other Lincolnshire MPs, voted against scrapping the so-called tampon tax in the House of Commons on Tuesday. Now, women in the UK currently pay a 5% tax on sanitary products, which are classified as non-essential luxury items by the European Union. The debate is all about whether they should be classed as a luxury, and Labour MP Stella Creasy argued that they should not.
Tampons and sanitary towels, even I'm struggling with the words tonight it seems, have always been considered a luxury. That isn't by accident, that's by design of an unequal society in which the concerns of women are not treated as equally as the concerns of men. Jaffa cakes are 0 rated. Now, I am not a fan of Jaffa cakes. Let it be known. Let it be known, I brook no argument. If you offer me a Jaffa cake, I will refuse. But I do not consider them to be an essential to my life. I can give or take them. I recognise that razors are 0 rated, judging by some of the members opposite. The opportunity to shave every day is for many of them a human right. They are cleanly shaven. I'm sure they would be concerned to be charged in that way. So too, perhaps one we can all agree on as a necessity. Pita bread is 0 rated. What is the kebab without a good pita bread around it? It is a necessity. It is when you start looking at what is described as a necessity and what is described as a luxury that you see the inequalities in this debate.
Now, the student union here at the University of Lincoln have criticised Carl McCartney for his stance on the matter. President of the student union, Hayley Jane Wilkinson, said of McCartney, "I find it deplorable that he views female sanitary products as a luxury item and that women should have to pay a 5% tax on essential items." There seems to be a shared Conservative view that the tax should stay put, as all but 3 Conservative MPs voted against the amendment to the government finance bill. We approached MP Carl McCartney for comments, but he has not yet responded. Back to you, Kat and Will.
Thanks for that, Emma. We actually have some breaking news on that story right now. Carl McCartney has now tweeted LSJ News saying that Lincoln SU are completely mistaken, politically motivated and wrong.
A trail of barons to celebrate the Magna Carta brought more than £1 million to Lincoln's economy. Local artists created 25 barons and placed them around the city this past summer. Devon Williamson has more.
The barons that were introduced to Lincoln over this past summer brought in over £1 million to the local economy here in Lincoln. Many barons are now being introduced starting the day after the Christmas light switch up and will continue until Christmas Day, hoping to bring in more money to the local economy. The barons were each individually painted by artists and their sponsors alike and were placed all around the city. Michael Armstrong of Lincoln Big spoke about the impact of the barons.
The amount of people, visitors that came into the city centre to see the barons, that they've spent money in the shops, they've spent money in the restaurants, and they've used all the services within the city centre. So it was just a great promotion for the city. We didn't know right at the very start when we got involved with it how successful it was going to be, but we were just absolutely amazed at how people took it to their hearts, and the Baron Trail especially was fantastic.
Devon Williamson, LSJ News.
And now for some more news from around the county, and Britain's only flying Vulcan bomber has made its final flypast before retirement. It soared through the skies for about 20 minutes, but details of the flight were kept secret to avoid crowds turning up. The bomber was piloted by Martin Withers, who led the Falcon raids during the Falklands War. The Falcon fleet was based at RAF Waddington near Lincoln. A let's have a quick look at the Vulcan bomber in action from yesterday. There we are. I think this clip has come yesterday from RAF Waddington, where the Falcon bomber was based. Here it is taking off. There.
Meanwhile, a former RAF serviceman from Lincolnshire will march with other blind veterans to the cenotaph on Remembrance Sunday. 61-year-old senior aircraftsman David Hazelgrove from Skegness will join more than 100 other representatives of Blind Veterans UK. This year they celebrate their 100 years of service to vision-impaired ex-servicemen and women.
Parents are being warned by Lincolnshire Fire and Rescue and Lincolnshire Trading Standards about the dangers of children's Halloween costumes. Firefighters have highlighted risks associated with Halloween costumes following a campaign led by TV presenter Claudia Winkleman, whose own daughter was severely burnt last year. Children's fancy dress costumes are classed as toys, which means they have a lower flammability standard than other types of clothing.
Sections of Newark Road and Brant Road are closed for repairs to service defects, which stem from a previous £1.7 billion improvement project. Work carried out 2 years ago proved problematic due to materials supplied. The extra costs are being met by the contractor.
Lincoln will be losing one of its historic markets in the city centre. After nearly 150 years, the Cornhill Market is being replaced by a £12 million shopping complex. I think we're having a few technical difficulties with that package, but we'll do our best to bring you it before the end of the programme.
A report from the World Health Organization released this week has revealed eating processed and red meat is increasing our risk of cancer. One danger food is bacon. Here's my report that I did earlier. Processed meats such as bacon, sausages and ham are all said to be leading to the cause of cancer. There are different classification groups for what causes cancer and what probably doesn't. Processed meats fit into the group 1, which shows there is evidence that they cause cancer. Red meat, so that's pork, beef and lamb, were put in group 2A, which means they probably cause cancer. However, at the moment there is limited evidence. So let's look at some statistics. 21% of bowel cancers are caused by processed or red meat. However, that compares to 86% of lung cancers that are caused by tobacco. That's in proportion to 19% of all cancers caused by tobacco, compared to only 3% of all cancers that are caused by red or processed meat. Jenny Wills, a nurse at Beating Bowel Cancer Charity here in Lincolnshire, tells us why we shouldn't stop eating red meat altogether just from this news.
Generally, we would encourage people to continue eating small amounts of red meat, but really cut down on the processed meat. But it's important not to be fearful of it, because red meat doesn't cause bowel cancer. There's more of a correlation that they've seen in lots of observational studies. They've seen a correlation with too much red meat and processed meat. So it's really important to bear that in mind so that people aren't cutting out red meat entirely.
I'm delighted to say we can go back to that package about the Cornhill Market in central Lincoln. Here's Angeline McCall.
Some people are calling it a demolition. Others are calling it a rejuvenation. Either way, the 136-year-old Cornhill Exchange Market will be replaced by an upscale shopping and restaurant venue. The planning proposal submitted by the Lincolnshire Co-op was officially passed last night by the Lincoln City Council Planning Committee, with some councillors feeling the decision brought a conflict between their heads and their hearts.
I think there was a little bit of friction between heart and head and legalities, in the sense that we all have our ideal market, what we'd like to see, but we have to consider what's put in front of us.
Speaking to traders here today, it's quite clear that they were prepared for the success of the planning proposal by the Lincolnshire Co-op, And now what they're planning to do is move out of this Cornhill Exchange Market into the neighboring Central Market or elsewhere in the city centre. Their futures are still a little unpredictable, and they're kind of wondering what's next for them. I spoke to Sean back in the springtime when the co-op submitted its proposal. So, are his hopes high for the coming days?
Good God, no, they're all out of a job. It's like they're telling us that we're being offered somewhere else. No, they're not. We're a little company. And our boss is retiring in 4 years. He can't afford to take a lease on, so I'm screwed.
The plans will include an upscale modern building with glazed windows and new shop fronts. Some local residents have expressed concern, though, that the advancement may drive out the lower wage families who benefit from the market's lower prices.
One of the last remaining areas in Lincoln for the common folk is it represents a haven, the meeting place, as I've mentioned, somewhere to go, to eat, to meet friends, to shop.
The Lincolnshire Co-op chief executive believes the market can still be a home to the community there, though.
Just because you haven't got a lot of money doesn't mean you shouldn't have great facilities, shouldn't mean you should have a rundown market.
The first phase of the construction will be finished by Christmas 2016. Angeline McCall, LSJ News.
A community group in Lincoln is aiming to make the city a little more dementia friendly. Dementia Friends is part of a national initiative by the Alzheimer's Society to improve well-being of people with dementia across the country. Volunteers who join the group can set up their own seminars and workshops by becoming dementia champions.
Well, basically, dementia champions are trained individuals who go around and dispel common myths about dementia. So we'll do information sessions which typically last about half an hour to an hour, where we just talk about the disorder, people affected by it, and we just sort of spread 5 key messages about dementia. Again, just sort of getting rid of common myths, like for example, it doesn't just affect the memory, there are other symptoms as well. So we just sort of get key messages about dementia across, and then if people are interested, we basically recommend they become dementia friends.
With Halloween now just 2 days away, businesses in Lincoln have been preparing for the festivities with costumes and decorations in high demand. But one events team has decided to take things a step further, as our reporter Martin Hollinshead found out.
If you're looking for something spooky to do this weekend, then the Lincoln Scare Room experience might just be for you. The attraction, which is being held upstairs in the Scene nightclub, has been put together by a local events group and promises to deliver plenty of frights. So the team are making their final preparations for tonight's Scare Room experience, and this is just one of the many corridors the visitors will face when alone in the dark. The experience is also full of all of the usual horror norms that you'd expect, such as a cabin in the woods, hidden monsters, and a mysterious, spooky swamp. Over the past week, Kapow Events have constructed a multi-room complex in the venue's function space using a range of materials and equipment. The team have also enlisted the help of volunteer live actors who will play the part of monsters and ghosts as they attempt to strike fear into those who dare to enter.
I'm writing my dissertation about immersive horror. So we actually saw a post online and for it being advertised to join in. And I thought for, number one, for fun, and 2, for research, it would be really interesting to do. And so far, so good.
Tonight I'm in the maze, so I have this leaf blower, and as people come around the corner I like to shock them with this leaf blower, so all they'll see is like this white thing on my face, so hopefully that will scare a few people anyway.
I'll be in the swamp in a costume of my own design, scaring people to walk through.
How much work has gone into all of this?
Days and days, yeah. Days of work, indeed.
So 2 years ago, me and my partner went to Walton Towers Scarefest, and we went around their boiler rooms, and it gave me the idea to give the Scare Room a go last year. We ran it just on the Wednesday, and it went down really well, and the management loved it and seen, and they've asked me to do it all week this week. So we've got a CO2 cannon, which I can give you a blast off. We've got the strobe light in the haunted cabin, which will go off at a slow rate, so you can only sort of see the scary actor that's in there. We've built a misty little swamp area as well, and then other than that, it's just a couple of very dim lights so people can see where they're going, and a little bit of fog. I love Halloween because from my point of view, from when we started doing this last year, I get the opportunity to build up a big stage set, get lots of actors involved and scare people. That's why I like Halloween now.
Martin Hollinshead, LSJ Today.
On to politics now, and it's been a busy week for the government. They've got a bloody nose from the House of Lords, and Prime Minister David Cameron is feeling the pressure on Europe. Here's political reporter Calvin Robinson.
European leaders have revealed that David Cameron has no plans for a European Union. Finland have said anything in the future, and they're ready to go to the EU. Today, asking him to sit
off to working tax credit will not make April the part of this. In fact, he said going the art time. It's very simple.
And finally, head of M not seeking RAB work then done.
Apologies for the technical difficulties there. Now to our tech and science reporter Owen Bellwood with your latest roundup of all things scientific and technological.
Thanks, Kat. This week in tech news, are robots too perfect? New research suggests that if robots are truly going to be our companions, they might need to be as flawed as us. Philip Wilson-Smith reports.
From the military to our living room, robots are here to stay. But if they are to coexist with us, then do they need to be more like us, warts and all? When you think of AI and robots, you might think of the Terminator, the perfect killing machine. But research here at the University of Lincoln suggests otherwise. In fact, it suggests that we need robots with human flaws.
In human companionship, we find faults in our friends, right? But we still accept our friends. We still have friendship with other people and everything. So why not, in companion robot, we build some fault, like common mistakes as we human do.
I lost.
We think that that day is not far that we will have a companion robot with us, like our mobile phone. So the robot will remember so many things. Robot will, accompany us to going somewhere, or they will help us to remember things, or they will help us to make something, make even coffee or something like that. So they will be part of our daily life, and we are trying to make that kind of robot which can be more human-like, so user can feel this is not a robot but a companion, more than a robot, close to human.
My friend, it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye, and thank you again for chatting with me. Please come visit me next time, then we can continue our friendship further.
Japanese car manufacturers are pushing forwards with hydrogen fuel cell powered cars. The technology combines hydrogen stored in tanks in the car with oxygen from the air and produces electricity to power the car. The only waste product from vehicles like this is water. Toyota and Honda are hoping to become the world's biggest exporters of hydrogen fuel cell powered vehicles. Google's Project Loon hopes to have a ring of internet-enabled balloons over part of the world next year. The lighter-than-air balloons carry radio transceivers to send data streams with speeds similar to 3G to provide internet services to areas which wouldn't normally have it. Project Loon hopes that next year they will have 300 balloons in the air, providing continuous internet access for certain regions. And finally, award-winning light bulb manufacturer Nanoleaf have created a smart light bulb with a Netflix and chill mode. The Nanoleaf Smarter Kit works with Apple's iPhone and HomeKit to provide voice-controlled lighting for the whole house. The system responds to phrases such as dim the lights or turn off the kitchen lights, and saying Netflix and chill sets the light to 1%. That's all for your tech news today. Back to you, Will and Kat.
Thanks very much, Owen. I need to get me some of those light bulbs, I think. Now it's time for your entertainment roundup with Eleanor Weaver. Frequency Festival kicked off this weekend, right, Eleanor?
Yes, thanks, William. It did indeed, and it's attracted hundreds of visitors in just 2 days. The festival showcases a number of exhibitions, including a digital art show and live performances. If you haven't been so far, don't worry, as the festival is running until Sunday, so you can still have the chance to go down and see for yourself. And in other local news, Allo Allo actress Vicky Michelle joins the cast for Lincoln's Panto this Christmas. Sleeping Beauty, which runs throughout December until January, is being staged at the Lincoln Theatre Royal. The I'm a Celebrity star joins Panto favourites Paul Lathers, Lucy Lavelle, Aston Dobson and Emily Childs in this year's production. And it's not all about Halloween this weekend. If dressing up isn't your thing, there's top quality music at the Engine Shed this Sunday as the Hoosiers perform. Here's a short clip from the Worried About Race singers about this weekend's performance.
Hey, listen, it's not the end of the world, but you haven't got your ticket yet, and we're running out of time. Engine Shed, Lincoln.
Sunday, 1st of November. Get involved.
And finally, the new James Bond film Spectre has hit the cinema in Lincoln this week, and it's already breaking box office records by making a massive £6.3 million on its opening day. Daniel Craig's fourth appearance as 007 has received a number of 5-star ratings and has already broken pre-ticket sale records in the UK. You can see the film at Lincoln's Odeon Cinema. That's all from entertainment for today. Back to you, Catherine and William.
Well, it's been an excellent week for Lincoln City. They're into the first round of the FA Cup and things are looking good in the league. Here's the sport with Liam Ray.
Yes guys, the FA Cup magic is certainly hitting Sittingbourne Bank at the moment. At the time of the first round draw on Monday evening, the Imps still had to overcome Tranmere Rovers in a fourth qualifying round replay, but they did so on Tuesday night and set up a clash with National League Southside Whitehawk in the process. Goalkeeping coach David Priest believes the win against Tranmere is testament to the improvements the Imps have made this season.
You look at the game against Grimsby when they had a man sent off. They could have easily won the game, and you know, with 10 men, and that was a little bit down to them, but playing really well with 10 men. A little bit down to us being a bit naive and not seeing the game as we should. But it was a total different game the other night. I think even though we didn't get the ball down and pass it as early as we should have after the sending off, you know, it just shows how far the team's come.
The Imps weren't the only Lincolnshire side involved in the draw. Gainsborough Trinity were in the hat for the first time in almost 10 years, after causing a major upset to beat Wrexham 1-0 at the weekend. Their award is a home tie with League One side Shrewsbury Town in the first round, which will be partly broadcast on live television. Both of those ties will take place on the 8th of November. Coming back to Lincoln City, and focus for them turns to an important match coming up in the National League against Bromley this weekend. Bromley have been the surprise package in the league this season since their promotion, lying above City in 6th place and possessing the league's leading scorer in Moses Adamola. City winger Connor Robinson scored in the FA Cup replay against Tranmere and believes it's important for the Imps to focus on their own performance this weekend.
Obviously they've been going well. I think they've got a big goal scorer up front, obviously. I think we'll be talked about that in depth probably tomorrow. But we haven't really thought about opposition teams that much this year. The gaffer's been more concentrated on what we're going to do and how they're going to worry about us. And you know, I've no doubt that come Saturday we'll take the game to them and, you know, real push for that playoff spot and get a win.
That's all your sport for today, guys. Back to Will and Kat in the studio.
You know, if we can Thanks very much, Liam. And now it's over to Adam with the weather. It's looking rather grey outside. Is it going to continue?
Thanks, Will. Well, it's been a wet day in Lincoln so far, but the rain is beginning to clear as we move into the evening, with temperatures hitting a maximum of 13 degrees. Tonight, clouds are expected to thicken and come in from the southwest by midnight, before bringing a rainy and breezy start to Friday morning. It won't all be bad weather tomorrow, though. Rain is expected to clear around midday, with some sunny spells in the afternoon, highs of 16 degrees. That's all for your weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
Now, we heard Calvin report on what's going on in Westminster earlier in the programme, but now it's time for a completely different type of parliament. Lincoln Owl Rescue took their Parliament of Owls down to Coffee Aroma on Guildhall Street this morning to help raise awareness for their cause. The group let the public hold and take photos with their owls in return for donations. We spoke to Julie Adams to find out a little bit more about the group and their animals.
Main thing is going out, helping owls in distress or injured owls, and then getting them fit and well and back out to the wild as soon as possible. We use our own collection of owls to help raise awareness and to raise funds so we can pay the vet bills and the transport and everything else. That's basically us. The owls we've got here, one at the front, that's Jess. He's 20 years old. A little one on top of the wooden owl there. He's a Western Screech owl. And then at the back we've got Mozart. He's a 4-year-old barn owl.
That's all from the LSJ team today. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can catch up with the latest news on lsjnews.co.uk or on Twitter at LSJ Tweets or on our Facebook page. Goodbye.